Welcome back to Kleppers Corner. Today in history, the show where we look at one date on the calendar and realize it contains more drama, bloodshed, genius, and absurdity than the entire current election cycle. Though, to be fair, that's a pretty low bar. Today we're diving into September 22nd, a day that features emancipation, espionage, opera, autopilot flights, and yes, Lost. Because nothing says history like a smoke monster. September 22nd is basically the Costco bulk pack of history. You don't need all of it, but boy, are you taking it home. Segment 1. Lincoln frees, sort of, some people. On September 22nd, 1862, Abraham Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. Keyword, preliminary. This wasn't the slavery is over moment schools like to put in coloring books. It was more like, hey, Confederacy, you've got until January to stop rebelling or we're taking away your free labor. Imagine your boss announcing, I might fire everyone in 3 months unless you get your act together. That's not emancipation, that's passive-aggressive HR. And yes, it didn't free slaves in the border states or Union-occupied areas, which is kind of like saying, everyone gets free ice cream, except the people who actually live near the ice cream truck. But it changed the war from Union maintenance to moral crusade. That's like upgrading from we're keeping Blockbuster alive to we're inventing Netflix. The branding worked. Britain and France were like, we love cotton, but we love not looking like jerks more. Lincoln basically outmaneuvered them by playing the world's biggest moral guilt trip. Segment 2. Nathan Hale, history's first influencer martyr. Jump back to 1776. Young Nathan Hale, Yale grad, school teacher, decides to spy on the British. He's caught, executed, and allegedly says, I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. Which is poetic, but let's be real. If I'm being hanged, I'm probably saying, wait, can I Venmo my tab? His words became revolutionary America's best bumper sticker. Every movement needs a good slogan. Nike has Just Do It. Nathan Hale had Just Die Once. Hale's spy mission failed. Washington never got the intel, but the PR, impeccable. Hale basically invented going viral 2 centuries before TikTok. And yes, Connecticut made him their official state hero in 1985. Imagine being Hale in heaven, like, cool, my bravery inspired a nation. And then someone adds, and now you're a trivia answer next to Nutmeg and Mark Twain. History is humbling. Segment 3, the Iran-Iraq War, the Middle East world's worst roommate battle. September 22nd, 1980. Saddam Hussein invades Iran. He thinks it'll be quick. Spoiler, it lasts 8 years, kills 1 million people, and involves chemical weapons. That's not a war, that's a toxic marriage that just won't end. The dispute? Borders, religion, and oil. So basically, Thanksgiving dinner with your uncle, but with Scud missiles. Saddam wanted to be the big man of the Middle East, but he got stuck in trench warfare so grim it made World War I look like a paintball match. Iran used human wave attacks. Saddam gassed his own people, and oil takers kept getting blown up. By 1988, both sides were broke, traumatized, and stuck in the same exact place. Imagine fighting your neighbor for 8 years and ending exactly where you started. But now, your house is on fire, your dog ran away, and ExxonMobil owns your backyard. Segment 4, King George III, the OG micromanager. September 22nd, 1761. George III gets crowned. He's young, British-born, actually speaks English. Basically, the monarch upgrade pack. The empire's on top of the world. Too bad the coronation feast was the last fun party America would attend before revolution. George thought taxes were a good way to pay off war debt. Colonists thought, screw you, we invented throwing tea in harbors. The irony? His coronation portrait put the crown on a pillow beside him instead of his head. Like, look, I'm not about power, I'm chill. Fast forward 15 years, Americans are screaming about tyranny while binge reading Thomas Paine. George's reign proves one thing. You can market yourself as the enlightened monarch all you want, but if you tax stamps, Americans will revolt harder than if you take away TikTok. Segment 5, Shaka Zulu, when HR policies involve executions. September 22nd, 1828, Shaka Zulu, the warrior king who built an empire with spears and genius tactics, is assassinated by his half-brothers. Why? Because he'd gone full dictator, banning crops, killing pregnant women, and demanding everyone mourn his mother or die. That's not leadership. That's every theater kid who ever got to direct one play. His military innovations were legendary. The bullhorn formation? Brilliant. The Ikwa stabbing spear? Effective. But ruling through paranoia? Turns out that makes your generals stabby in a different way. Dingane, his brother, takes over and cancels Shaka's bans. Basically, Shaka's empire was saved by the world's first corporate "we're under new management" sign. Segment 6, Bismarck, iron, blood, and zero chill. On September 22nd, 1862, same day Lincoln's freeing folks, Prussia hires Otto von Bismarck. The man basically speed ran the creation of Germany through 3 wars and 1 mustache. His motto? Not speeches and votes, but iron and blood. Which is also coincidentally the vibe at every middle school dodgeball game. Bismarck was the king of manipulation. He tricked Denmark, punked Austria, baited France, and suddenly, bam, Germany exists. It's like Europe got catfished, and when the veil lifted, there was Bismarck holding a sword saying, "Surprise, you're unified." Of course, this militarized authoritarian state thing ended up being problematic. 2 world wars later. Bismarck lit the match, and Germany kept forgetting where they put the fire extinguisher. Segment 7, Michael Faraday, DIY Science King. Born September 22nd, 1791. Faraday had almost no formal education, started as a bookbinder's apprentice, and went on to invent the foundation of electricity. That's like your mechanic casually inventing time travel. He discovered electromagnetic induction, invented the electric motor, and popularized terms like anode and ion. Honestly, the guy basically built your iPhone charger before coffee had even been invented in pumpkin spice flavor. The wild part? He visualized magnetic fields with iron filings, creating the field concept that led to Einstein. Faraday was the ultimate proof that curiosity plus duct tape science experiments can literally change the universe. So next time your kid's mixing baking soda and vinegar, don't yell, say thank you. They might be one explosion away from physics immortality. Segment 8, Farm Aid, when Willie Nelson became Congress. September 22nd, 1985. Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp host the first Farm Aid concert after Bob Dylan casually said at Live Aid, "Maybe we should help American farmers," which is the activist version of drunk tweeting an idea, and suddenly you're in charge of a movement. 80,000 people showed up. They raised $9 million. That's not just a concert, that's a policy intervention with guitars. And unlike Live Aid, it didn't end when the stage lights went out. Farm Aid still exists, helping farmers fight foreclosures and lobby Congress. Imagine Congress doing less for farmers than Willie Nelson, a man who literally owes more back taxes than half the Senate. That's America for you. Segment 9, Lost. TV fans discover they can be annoying in forums. September 22nd, 2004. Lost premieres. It starts with a plane crash, a polar bear, and a smoke monster. Suddenly, America has a new hobby, arguing online about fictional numbers. Lost wasn't just a TV show. It was the first true internet fandom. People paused frames, wrote blogs, started podcasts. Basically, it turned TV watching into homework. And yes, the finale made fans angrier than when Starbucks changes cup sizes. But Lost created the blueprint for modern fan culture. Marvel movies, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, they all owe a debt to Jack, Kate, and Hurley yelling about pushing a button. If you were a Lost fan in 2004, you weren't just watching TV. You were decoding hieroglyphics like your diploma depended on it. Segment 10, Tragedy Triple Pack. September 22nd also brings disasters. In 1934, the Gresford colliery explosion in Wales killed 265 miners. In 1993, the Sunset Limited train derailed into Big Bayou Canoe after a towboat captain literally got lost in the fog, killing 47. And in 1692, the last 8 people of the Salem witch trials were hanged. Fast forward to 1906 Atlanta, where white mobs murdered black residents after fake newspaper stories. The pattern? Fear, negligence, and prejudice kill people just as effectively as bombs and battles. Whether it's witches, racial scapegoats, or minors ignored by greedy bosses, September 22nd reminds us progress is fragile, and humans are very good at repeating the same mistakes. Basically, September 22nd is the human condition, wrapped in tragedy and irony, tied with a bow of regret. In conclusion, so there you have it, September 22. A date where Lincoln recalibrated a war, Hale inspired a nation, Saddam miscalculated his neighbors, Faraday rewired reality, Shaka got stabbed by HR, Bismarck birthed Germany, Lost birthed Reddit culture, and Willie Nelson out-legislated Congress. It's a day of emancipation and massacres, of genius and folly, of opera and autopilot. It's proof that history isn't just kings and wars. It's messy, contradictory, inspiring, and horrifying, often all at once. So the next time your calendar says September 22nd, remember, it's not just a date. It's basically humanity's mixtape. Half inspiring anthems, half tragic ballads, and at least one weird Wagner opera.